Hey everybody, we pre-recorded this episode, so I'm here to tell you who won the song contest from episode 45. The hint from that episode was, take one more turn to either destroy an enemy or make a discovery. That game was Civilization 2, guessed correctly by Andrew Mogan. He will be providing the hint at the end of this episode as well, since he guessed correctly for episode 44. And then you'll be hearing another selection of his in episode 47. So stick around at the end of the episode and I'll give you Andrew's hint for this week's song contest and play you the segment from the song. Stick around, I'll be back. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Good morning.
And to my left, Zachary Parks.
Aloha.
Aloha. Aloha.
You have to figure out
Peace
how to
be
say
with
it
you.
in the Pokemon Sun and Moon world.
Oh yeah, what is it?
I think it's just Alola.
Yeah.
Alola.
I'm pretty sure it was like in one of the promotional videos or something, and I was like, "Come on, just say Aloha. Be real. We all know it's Hawaii. You're not fooling anybody."
No, it's, they don't want to get sued by Hawaii.
It's a language. I don't think you can copyright that.
No. We're gonna get some kid's gonna go to Hawaii looking for Pokemon, and it's not gonna be there.
Damn.
And they're gonna have to
I
have a
really
lawsuit.
wish that they would make Pokemon Go to where you can only get like the Hawaiian region Pokemon in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's what I thought
Oh
Pokemon
man,
Go was
what a
gonna be
good
like.
tourism crunch should be like.
Yeah.
You want these? You got to come here, bitch.
Yeah. Some people will do it. A lot of
I
people
know.
do it, actually. So
Yeah,
they should look into that.
yeah. Nintendo, get on it.
We'll contact Hawaii's tourism board.
Hawaii's tourism.
But this is Team Chat Podcast, and a video game podcast where we talk about games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. And we do that through top 3 lists, discussion, debates, and guests, and reviews. And so if you would like to get in contact with us send us general feedback, questions about the show, topic suggestions, anything like that, you can do that by sending us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com. Following us on Twitter and Facebook, Team Chat Podcast, respectively. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch the episodes every week, as well as some game clips from our gaming endeavors, some bonus-odes, some other fun stuff. You should check it out sometime on YouTube. If you would like to support the show, you can also do that by going to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. And in return, we will give you some cool perks, like getting the episodes early before their Tuesday general release. But if you don't want to do that, that's no big deal, because we will still make the podcast each and every week and deliver great content to you each and every week, because we love it and we love doing it. It's Team Chat Promise, the Team Chat
Guarantee.
Yeah.
See, I did it that
Finally,
time. I was
all
paying
together.
attention.
Don't get used to it. That was one time.
One-time wonder, one-hit wonder.
I
is
was
what
like, I
we
wonder
are.
if he's going to say the thing.
I am.
thing that he says every time. Will he say it?
Oh my God, what's that word he uses?
Guarantee? No, guarantee.
Guarantee?
But again, that's patreon.com/Team Chat Podcast. So we are doing something a little different today because we are pre-recording this episode a little bit to make up for some travel and other things that are coming up. So we don't know who won last episode's song contest
Hard
yet.
to tell at this point in time.
By this point, though, I will have added it into the beginning of the episode, so that way there's the natural flow. So you'll know who it is by the time you're listening to this, because I would have added it already.
You get your spotlight moment at the beginning.
You should
the
call-
lighting's like perfect.
You should call that like a different person. Like, that's future Jarrett. You should talk about him.
Yeah,
like
future
at the
Jarrett
third.
will help you
Future
out.
Jarrett will
so
help
future
you.
Jarrett will show you the way.
All right.
And as to who won episode 45's song contest, I've already helped you out, actually, because since I put it at the beginning of the episode. And then
Jeez, I'm confused.
and then Jarrett of future
Future Jarrett.
will then come
Movie
in
plot.
at the end of the episode to play you the new clip from the person who won episode 45. So it's very convoluted since we're pre-recording, but a little sneak peek into the production of Team Chat Podcast, if you will.
You need different hats that say like future Jarrett won.
Yeah,
future
you should.
Jarrett.
You should.
Like make trucker hats like that, like that guy. What's that comedian? Judah Friedlander, who always has like different big trucker hats with
Yes.
different phrases on them. I should do that.
That would be really
like Jarrett
funny.
1, Jarrett 2. That would be really funny. That's a good idea.
That way people would always know who it was. They'd be like, oh, this is future Jared, indeed.
Not present Jared. All right.
Not present Jared, no.
No.
So future Jared will take care of all the song stuff for us at this point. So getting on, though, to the topic of the show. This is episode 46. So we've almost, goodbye, everyone. But
go dark. Boom.
But it's not quite in episode number, but in chronological time when this episode is going out, which will be...
It'll be November 1st.
Yeah.
Will it be November 1st?
I think so.
That is right.
November 1st.
November 1st.
Which
is almost November 3rd, I believe, is when we release the very first episode of Team Chat.
All right.
So this is basically our year one in conclusion.
Team Chat-iversary.
Hell yeah. So we wanted to do something a little different this episode and basically kind of talk about that. We want to talk about us.
We're going to talk about ourselves for once.
We're going to talk about ourselves. But just, what thoughts on our first year, some of our favorite episodes or favorite moments, things like that. And, then I don't know. We'll just see what happens, I guess.
Let's talk about it.
We didn't quite hit like 50. This isn't episode 52 because for those who are joining us as newer listeners and haven't gone back to the very beginning and listened to everything,
it was bi-weekly. Or it wasn't bi-weekly. It was
bi-monthly.
No,
it
was twice a month.
So that was very confusing.
What is that?
So here we go. This is the perfect
bi-yearly,
segue.
I think.
This is the perfect segue into like a behind the scenes of Team Chat.
Yeah.
That was so confusing figuring out the wording when was putting it in like descriptions or like telling people because bi-weekly in my head sounds like every other week,
right? Isn't that true?
Yeah, but that's correct.
Or is that weekly?
No. See,
Okay.
this is the confusion. Like, because I was looking it up and I would be like, bi-weekly. That's every other week. But then somebody was like, no, that sounds like it's every 2 weeks. And I was like, but that's not right. So
that's the same thing. Every
Weekly
other
and
week
bi-weekly?
and every 2 weeks are the same thing.
I know, but it was just, for some reason, it caused a lot of confusion in my head. And so I don't know.
You're not good with your timelines.
What's the time? What is the right way to say it?
So
I think
we
it's
basically
bi-weekly.
Maybe it is bi-weekly.
Yeah, every other week, bi-weekly.
Okay.
So we would release one episode, take a week off, release another episode.
And we were just starting out, and we really
our first time any of us had ever done a podcast. So we had
Exactly.
no
We didn't
idea.
even know each other.
Listen to the
No,
first
yeah.
episode, which is actually here's a little. Most people know this by now. The first episode that is on the iTunes or SoundCloud or whatever is not the first episode we recorded.
We actually recorded the very first episode in August of last year.
Yeah.
And
Right after
we have
RTX.
that still, right?
Yeah,
We were
still
that
have it.
early.
Right after RTX 2015, because I remember I came back and I was like all fired up from that
Yeah,
and all that
yeah.
stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, let's get going. And then we released it. We got it in. We recorded the first episode in August, and then didn't actually. And then because we were waiting, because we had a guy, a buddy of mine, Justin Light.
Right,
he was
making the
working on
music.
our theme song and everything, which is I think we can all agree, fantastic theme
Yes,
song.
I was
Justin.
excited when he showed that to us. I was very excited.
Yeah,
I was like, he did a really good job with it.
I saw him a couple days ago, and I was like, dude, people talk about all the time, like people, how catchy it is, and
Yeah,
it's
it's catchy.
legit catchy. It's
great.
And so, like, I really wanted to wait until we got so we could be, first episode, we got this kick-ass theme song, we got a good episode, and so, but because of that, like, we went back and we were listening to it, and we were like, man, this first episode doesn't feel like how we want it to be.
Well, to be honest, I do not remember what it sounds like. What was the issues
I
with
think it was just really formal.
It was.
Like
probably?
it was just way more formal than
go
we
ahead.
are out. Yeah,
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
Oh, it's your turn.
Go ahead.
Oh, no,
sorry.
you first,
Sorry.
sir.
What's your name again? Sorry, I forgot your name.
Well, and that's kind of another fun thing about like the backstory of Team Chat. And so there's this big gap. We wound up re-recording the first episode again, which was
a lot better.
Holds the record as being the longest Team Chat episode.
Yeah,
of
over
like
2 hours.
It's like over 2 hours long.
Yeah. But that's a great I mean, I haven't listened to that episode since probably.
I know. I
came
kind of want to
out.
go back and listen to it again
I would
myself.
like to. Yeah, that'd be fun to listen to.
Because it was really cool because
our
we gave
favorite
like
games.
it was like our top 3 games and like how we got into gaming. So
Yeah,
it
that's
was,
right.
it was a great like intro episode into who we are and
Yeah.
like why people should even care.
it was great. Everything's just great. In fact, it was brilliantly done.
Yeah, it was a fantastic episode. But and then here we are. And then later, so we didn't actually release the first episode till November 3rd, and then we were doing every other week until February. And we decided like, hey, We like doing this. We feel like we're bored in between.
Like we can do it. We
Yeah.
we can and we should, you know?
Yeah, and so that's when we switched to going weekly, and now here we are at, episode 46, getting close to episode 50, which is a pretty big fucking deal.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
a big one.
Amazing.
So, like,
Good for us.
This is just a pat on the back. Pat on the back episode.
We deserve it, goddammit.
I mean, it's a crazy thing. Like, no, what I'm saying is like it's this thing where like in my head, like I knew it would be work. Like we'd have to do, we'd have to commit to this and like stay with it. But like I didn't quite understand. Like, man, weekly is a lot, and also like it just in how fast it goes by.
Yeah, that's true. I will agree with you. When I was thinking about like we're gonna do podcasts, doing it bi-weekly was pretty easy. You know, switching it to weekly I think was a no-brainer, and we really should have done it. I'm glad we did. But yeah, doing it weekly, it's not so much coming here and talking that's hard. Like that's not the hard
that's
part.
easy.
It's easy to come and do the podcast, but it's difficult to schedule it every week and make sure we get it out every single time. It's gotten easier over the past 3 months, I think.
Yeah.
Have we gotten into more
It seems
of a
like
routine?
a really good flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once all of Jarrett's friends are finally done getting married, his schedule is going to be
Jared's
a
wedding
lot better.
Plans are out
Jesus,
of this world.
buddy.
I'm going to the last one today.
And then in about 5 years, the divorces.
Yeah. Yep. Nice smoking. But yeah, it's like with our busy schedules, because we all have full-time jobs and because we're all living adults in a city.
We actually have to support ourselves.
Yeah,
it's crazy, right?
There's been points I'm like, oh shit, I gotta record that podcast tonight. Where in reality, like I should maybe like do something else. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh god. Like,
Oh no, there are different times when like I've had projects that I've
like,
needed to do for work, and like I have to edit the podcast, and that winds up taking
you have
time.
The biggest load of the work as well.
Yeah.
You would to go in and have to edit it. I mean, all this is we're at Jared's house. This is his audio equipment. This is, he goes to his computer, so you have really, the majority of the load on your hands.
But it's like, the cool thing about it is that it doesn't feel like a load. Like, which makes me feel like, which is a good thing, obviously. Like if this felt like a burden, that would suck.
This.
But so, I thought really quick, I would just share, just how. So yeah, we've released some of our stats. As
Our
it were.
stats.
Sure.
So-
Well, I'm telling you, man, SoundCloud's not as accurate as Podtrack.
All right, I'll switch over to Podtrack real quick.
Because SoundCloud, I mean, at least I think.
Are we calling this Team Stat Podcast?
Team Stat
Oh, Team Stats. Oh gosh, something's wrong with your iPhone. It looks all
I
weird.
was really complaining about iOS 10 before we started recording.
Maybe it's because iPhone sucks.
Oh,
Shut
man.
down.
The internet loves you.
All right, so keep talking while I'm getting this stuff going.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say about the work. It doesn't feel like work, but it's certainly the consistency of it is not a challenge, but I'm very
It's
aware
just a
of it
little
weekly.
complicated
It's just a little
sometimes
complicated
because we have
sometimes.
overlapping schedules. Sometimes they don't line up very well. So
Exactly.
it's just like sometimes very down to the minute, like, hey, can you guys record now? And
Yeah.
it's like, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes we do on the weekends, like right now.
Well, like
This
this
is a
came
Saturday.
up. We realized our schedules got a bit, so we actually recorded episode 45 last night.
Yeah, so we
And
just saw
so
each
here
other.
we are doing episode 46. Normally we have a nice break from each other in between, so I'm a little peeved
Getting
already.
pretty
but,
sick.
Yeah, I know. I
guys.
can't believe I have to see y'all's faces again. I could do that if this was our full-time job. I could do this every day.
Oh,
I could
I
wake
could-
up,
absolutely.
come
I could
here. I
stand
could do
you
this
two.
every day.
I could do this too every day.
Yeah.
Which quite honestly, I don't know if we've ever said it on the podcast or not. That is the end goal.
Of course,
Like
Yeah.
we
To
would
make
like this to grow into something big enough that
Yes.
that it does become our full-time jobs and all
Yeah.
this stuff, or if some other company out there like wanted to bring us on, kind of thing. I don't know. Like that's the goal.
That is
to
the
make
goal.
this the big
Right.
the big thing. And
Even
so-
though I still like believing that it's ours too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to keep it
I want to
ours.
keep it.
No sellout.
Never.
Never.
You can't buy us. They're like, hey, easy. Whoa, we're your friend. Oh, fuck you.
you can't buy us 20 million. You can buy us.
Okay, that sounds fair.
See, it sounds reasonable.
That's the only number.
The
I'll accept.
biggest sale of a podcast ever. That'd be like record breaking. Cover of Newsweek.
So I think okay.
here's
so
some stats here.
Some stats for everybody.
Because I'm curious about. SoundCloud does have stats. like
SoundCloud
that.
does have some
Oh,
pretty
look
good
at
stats,
that.
and it has. Like
I'm just saying, I never knew if SoundCloud and iTunes. I know we've thought they were connected, but when you go to Podtrack, which is a site that we use to just gauge listenership and all that.
The Podtrack ones are a little more clear. I like SoundCloud because it gives like a total number of like how many total plays, which we've had across all of our episodes. 47 at the time of this recording, 4,715.
Nice.
Cool. So we're almost gonna have 5,000.
Yeah, getting pretty close. So, I mean, over 46 episodes, a few hundred listens on average per episode. You know, we've got people, we do have steady playback of older episodes, which I think is really cool. So it's not just people keeping up with the newest ones. They're also,
that's fun.
Some people are going back and like listening to older stuff, which is nice that people are interested enough to go back.
Well, one of the things that we talked about when we did this podcast was I remember, I think, vaguely having a conversation about how it's more important to make the episodes, at least sort of, I almost said timeless, but that's I think that's a little bit too
evergreen kind of thing, where like they're always relevant.
They're always relevant. They're like, we go back and talk about older games a lot.
Oh yeah,
because
a lot.
We don't just be like, hey, let's have a podcast where every week we're just up to date on gaming news, up to date on the newest stuff. Because for me, and I think for you guys too, that has very little to do for me with what video games are.
I mean,
in my
still
life.
very frequently when I'm looking to buy a new game, that phrase just means new to me.
Yeah.
I am
not
almost
necessarily
never
brand new
thinking,
release.
hey, what came out this month?
Right.
Unless it was something I was intentionally looking forward to, like Rise of the Tomb Raider coming to PS4.
Right.
And then it's like, yes, I will get it on release day, finally. But other than that.
But yeah, so I'm happy that we've kept up a decent tradition of making sure that our topics span, decades of gaming.
Yeah, literal decades.
So I'm glad that people are at least saying that they can go back and listen to these older episodes, and you're not like missing out. You're not like getting behind.
It's not like we're like have a continuous storyline.
No, maybe one day.
Maybe this will be a serialized. Tune in next week to find out what happens to Mogan.
Oh gosh. What happens to me? What do you mean?
In Tomb Raider.
In Tomb Raider. I die a lot.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Laura's there freezing to death, and I'm like, sorry, Laura.
And so, so obviously, like, that's really cool. We're very, very appreciative to everyone who tunes in and listens to us. And so I think that's a cool thing to go and for us to talk about now is like, so we started this and we all knew that we had friends. Like, you always know, like, your mom's going to be someone who listens because it's like, when you start something new, because it's like, okay, they want to support their kids. But
not my mom.
We literally didn't know if, like, this is going to be a thing that anyone would even really want to listen to or come back to. And, our numbers are not stellar. It's like it's not like we're attracting thousands of listens per episode and stuff like that. But they're not terrible. And we do have a continuous, like, we hit our average number every single time,
which is sweet, and that
which is
sounds like
awesome because we have a base.
We know that we have some people.
We do have a great fan base, and so like I just wanted to say, like, as a big thank you to everyone who listens and keeps coming back every single week, because like we can push through and be like and say, oh, we're doing fine. We could push through that if our number still said 0, but like no one listens. Like we could force it if we wanted to. But the nice thing is like you guys are there, you guys listen, and you all support us each and every week, and that is it's a great feeling and it's a great thing. Like it makes it worth it,
and it makes it feel real,
and it makes it feel.
We're not
it's
for
not
a
like
while
we're talking
we were
to
just
an empty
talking
room.
to. That's what it felt like.
Even just shouting into the void.
I mean, I'm surprised we have 10 lists. I'm surprised I am like, or at least when we first started, I was like, wow, how are they going to find us? How are they gonna, and we were on iTunes, New and Noteworthy. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, we were on
that was
New
fun.
and Noteworthy for like a month.
Save that screensaver. Took that screenshot because that was incredible.
That was exciting that we got on New and Noteworthy. That was I don't know how difficult
Which could have been
it is
because we were new, not necessarily noteworthy.
Yes, we filled one of those boxes.
But no, still. And then we even appeared like on the iTunes like video games homepage, podcast homepage. We were on there like front page or something like that. So that was
maybe helped.
Yeah, and it probably did. But still, like obviously the show would not be anything without the people who listen, and so obviously huge amount of kudos to all of you for listening and letting us do this, because it's awesome.
Do they know the story of how we actually decided to do this?
I don't think so. Like
well,
I think we've
touched on it.
Briefly touched on it. So yeah,
tell us the story.
Me
Zach
and
Jarrett
met at was it a music video festival? What's that?
Yeah, it was a music.
It was
because
a music video
I met
festival.
Hefe.
Right, Hefe was there
at another like company event at my old job.
Okay, and Hefe's I currently actually work for Hefe right now.
Right, and he's the one who invited me to come to this. He was like, "Hey man, because I was relatively new to video freelancing at that point." And so he was like, "Hey, we'll come to this music video thing. Like, I've got a couple of videos showing there, so there'll be a lot of like people, and I can, we can hang out and talk a little bit more and all this other stuff." And so
I
went
to
to
Hefe on a couple sets on a couple of music videos he did. So I saw him there. I shook his hand, and you were like right next to him.
Yeah, because I didn't know anybody else there, so I was just like chilling.
No, I was probably like, "Fuck this." I was probably
all that stuff.
like being cynical in the corner.
As usual.
Yes.
That's your natural state.
It was dark in there, and Zach's just in the corner.
I swear it's not. It's just like, I don't know, the amount of mediocrity I run into. So me and Jared both work in the film industry, and that's actually a humongous part of my life. I mean, film is actually what I'm an aspiring filmmaker, so that's an incredibly big part of my life. And so when I met you there, we talked about doing editing work. We're both editors, and we talked about like starting something. We met like a couple weeks later or something for coffee, because I mean there we like talked about some of our favorite movies and stuff like that, because it was and it was also hard to hear in there because it was like at a bar and some other stuff. So and so we met, and then we met up later, and I remember at this thing we were talking at the coffee shop later, and I just said to Zach, and it's like, and like one thing I can't get out of my head that I want to start doing is something related to gaming, because this is when I had really started. I had been playing games for years, obviously, but Jared's history of games always makes me chuckle.
Yeah,
but then until I started on Mac, and I played Mac until I played on Mac until.
Just makes me see red.
I moved here to Austin, and that's when I actually finally bought my first console, which was a PlayStation 3.
You newbie.
I mean, I played other consoles like at friends and cousins and stuff like that growing up, so it's not like I had never touched a console before. I still loved Mario and all that stuff.
What is this?
What are these games you speak of?
And so I was getting really into this point where I was like, man, these are not just an entertainment form. These are big, and I was really starting to really analyze more into what I liked and why I liked them, rather than just that was fun,
of course,
And so as I was getting into it, I was I'd been thinking recently, I was like, man, these are just as good as a storytelling medium as movies and TV and books and stuff like that. And I was like, and
frequently better.
And I feel like people, honestly, still the vast majority of the people out there still look at it as a waste of time.
Yeah.
And there's that stigma around gamers. You say oh, I'm a gamer. Oh. you get that. And so
I don't get it as much anymore.
I don't
I'm
either.
just saying.
I really
don't.
The attitudes are obviously shifting in the way that we'd like it to be. But
it's because Team Chat is here.
Exactly. It's exactly because Team Chat.
Informing the public about the magic of games.
We were at the coffee shop, and I just told Zach, I was like, so I think I want to try to figure out how to do something with that. I don't know if making short documentaries, or maybe doing a podcast, or setting up a channel. And then when I said that, you were
I was like, dude, I'm a huge gamer.
Yeah, and you kind of reciprocated the same feeling.
Sure.
You were just like, no, I would love to do that too.
Yeah.
And so then we started thinking about. We were trying to think what did we talk about first?
We talked about video game documentaries. We were like, let's go to these video game production houses in Austin and try to do short docs about them making
which I would
X,
still
Y,
love
and Z.
to do.
Shit, fuck, that'd be awesome.
this just and then after and we met a couple more times, and we still talked
we were
about
hashing stuff out,
and we couldn't nail down what we really wanted. And then I don't remember who brought up the idea of doing a podcast.
I think you did.
Okay. And then I was just like, well, what if we did it this way? And then and I guess that just rolled into way more of a that seemed more feasible, I guess.
Right. And it was just one of those things that you get lucky in a sense, because I'd met you weeks before all this stuff went down.
The way I know Zach is actually kind of really convoluted.
It's really
strange. So have you heard that story?
Maybe, but not in full detail.
It's so roundabout. So I moved to Austin about 3 years ago.
It's just random,
and I think I met you maybe a year and a half after that, because my best friend, who currently lives in Las Vegas and also did at the time, texted me, and she was like, hey, my twin sister, who lives in Portland, Oregon, is coming to Austin for exactly 1 day, and I know her sister, and we're still also friends. So I was like, oh, great, I'll text Amy, and we'll hang out. So I was hanging out with Amy and her mother and godfather, and we were just doing whatever, and then they were like, oh, we have this other guy coming to have pizza with us, and it was Mike.
And so
Mike
roommate.
shows up, and I'm like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
And so then Mike was like, oh, let's go pick up my other friend from this other place. So we all go to pick up you.
Right.
At where was that? At Stubbs?
Was it at Stubbs? No. Where was it?
Where
I remember
were
we went
you?
to the Irish place. I remember
Yeah,
that's
we
where we
did,
ended
we
up.
did.
The trivia.
Fido's, yeah.
I love Fido.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know where I was.
we were somewhere downtown, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Who's this kid?"
Right, yeah, it was just weird. It was just, like,
It was
who
just
are these
weird.
people?
And then we all got in the car and went to Fido's
Had
and hung
lunch.
out. And like we were talking about games at one point, and I think in particular, somehow we wound up on A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, we were
like
talking
that's
about-
one of the ones we were talking about. And then like everyone just kind of left. And then a few weeks later, or like a month later, I get this text that's like, "Hey, you want to be on a podcast?"
Yeah, it was very direct. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
yes
See,
or
like,
no?
I thought you guys were like better friends than that.
No.
we had
Because
hung out a little bit
I
before
remember
that.
thinking, when the first time I hung out with you, I was like, Mogan's really funny. That's what I thought. I was like, wow,
she is.
Mogan's really funny. Like, I remember you were having like the table, like, we were like, you were telling these jokes, or like just the way you were talking about stuff. I was like, well, that's hilarious. And I was like, wow, this should be really great if she was brought onto the podcast instead, because it was just gonna be me and you.
Right. That's originally how it was going to be.
No, I'm
And so like I remember we were at another coffee shop one day and we were like talking about this, like really figuring out like how we wanted it to go and all this stuff. And you were like, "Hey, I've got this friend and I
Yeah.
think she would be good." See, so I thought like you guys were like good buddies. Like I didn't realize you had only hung out like a couple times.
Yeah.
Which I mean that's no big deal. But and you were like, I think she'd be great and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like let's meet sometime.
And I just got the text, and I didn't have a good idea of actually what you meant. Like I was like, yeah,
Like
sure.
one episode?
And then when we actually met to have like the group discussion
At
where I
Buzzmill?
first met
at
you.
Buzzmill, yeah,
Buzzmill.
which is where we had. So I had only met, we'd been hanging out and like going to coffee for a couple
Yeah.
months. Like this is my very first time meeting
Right.
Mogan,
Yeah.
That's right.
and yeah, and so we go to Buzzmill. And
Yeah.
so what were you saying? Sorry, okay.
Oh no, now I can't remember.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Great.
It's too late
Jared.
now.
But yeah, that was.
But yeah, and so then that's what we did,
all
and we
together.
sat there and we kind of like said like, and so okay, so you went in thinking like maybe this was like a one-time
Oh
thing.
yeah, so I really didn't think of it as like a long-term thing, and then when I got there and you guys were talking about the scope of it, I was like, I think they mean
gotta,
something with a little more commitment.
I got to grab something out of my car real quick.
Oh, just gonna go get another drink.
What happened to Mogan?
I don't
No.
like commitment.
Yeah.
I was like, as long as everyone else does all the work.
Yeah, here's our 2-year plan, Mogan. Sign on the contract.
the contract.
We can offer no money.
Yeah.
We have no
We're not going
money.
to make any money.
And I was, but after I got like the actual sense of it, I was like, yeah, I can probably do that. Really, my main concern was me. I was like, these guys seem like they know what they're doing, and I hella do not know what I'm doing.
None of us knew what we were doing.
None of us really did. No. We were
Yeah.
just
I
like,
realized that later. I was like, oh, nobody knows what they're doing.
No,
so
no.
it's fine.
Yeah.
But like as soon as we probably hit record for the first time, I would have loved to see been in that moment. Like for the first
know.
episode, before we
man.
recorded it again, like when you hit record, we were probably just like,
What do we do?
what?
Yeah, I know.
How close do I
I
get
know
to
my
the
like
mic?
my intro was, I mean like I still fuck up the intro. So,
Famously.
like, mine was like real bad. Like doing that, like I don't even know. I can't remember. But like we'll have to maybe we'll like go
should
back and
listen.
maybe I'll put in like the first like intro of the first episode in this one.
Okay.
Oh, that would be great.
The unreleased.
That'd be sweet.
The
Yeah, you kinda
unreleased. Like right
stitch
now,
it up.
I'll like put it in right
Okay.
now.
Just the intro before we even had a Patreon.
Oh, it's gonna
Yeah.
make us cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it gonna sound like? This is Team Pot Chad Cast.
I think I called it. I called it. I did call it Gamecast. I think. Not podcast. And then I was like, wait, are we gonna call it podcast or Gamecast?
Wait, meeting.
What do we do?
Time out.
And so then that's kind of how it all began.
A bunch of random strangers that just kind of loosely happen to know each other.
Pretty much.
So any future psychologists can listen to these episodes and sort of navigate how personalities unfold over the course of
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
People that don't know each other, and then listen to episode 5, then 10, then 15. See how their
See, we're
mannerisms.
contributing to science now. Too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to get.
It's
at.
great.
But
We
yeah,
need
see
to
how our
submit this
personalities
to
change.
UC Berkeley for analysis.
Which is true. I do think there was an unfolding. It took at least
Oh,
probably.
we had to get comfortable with each
yeah, and
other.
it took probably like 20 episodes. The 21st episode was a good one because we drank.
Yeah.
But still, it's like I can see a distinct. I tell you what, the actual episode that I was like, wow, we actually sound a lot different is 25.
The soundtracks one, the first one we did on
the
soundtracks.
first music sound?
No, 26. Multiplayer.
Oh.
I thought the
okay.
the multiplayer maps episode still is one of my favorites. I re-listened to that one recently, and I was like, first of all, I love multiplayer maps. So for me,
Right.
just as an interest, I love that one. And I just thought our energy and personalities were like really shining through, which is a day. That's the other thing about doing this with our lives. Like some days I'm having a bad day at work and then we come and do a podcast and it's like, I'm not going to be the same that I would on a great day at work. You know what I mean? It's all kind of
like there are definitely like and yeah, there have been days when I'm like dog tired.
Yeah.
Like,
you like can't think and you're like,
like I, like my mind blanks out on things to talk on the on like what we were talking about, the topic, and I'm like, fuck, I'm the host of this shit. Like, I gotta kind of but then you guys are always good to be like, we're doing this. I'm like, yes,
okay. One of us needs to learn backup intro just in case. Like, what if Jared has an aneurysm?
Yeah, damn. Why couldn't it just be like a cold and I'm incapacitated?
Yeah,
Why have to be an aneurysm?
I'm going full aneurysm. Worst case scenario.
Because like what we were saying like earlier, like yes, the first one we were trying to be like, oh, we don't want to talk over each other. Like we need like like Mogan,
it was very polite.
Present your games.
Yeah, and I was like, oh gosh.
Back away from the mic,
and we'd sit there and be like, yes,
yeah,
yes.
I remember having a discussion about our uhs and okays. I remember being like, I think we say too much. I remember thinking that or saying that to you guys.
I remember listening to the first one, and it's still a thing that bugs me. Is I know I say, and it was like. And like
I still do that.
I listen.
I'm like, fuck. I say like a lot.
I know, and it makes me feel like I sound terrible. Yeah. But what is really funny is like we were going back to like when we were meeting at Bushmill. That's another restaurant. That's
I think you got
somewhere
6
else.
wrong in a row there.
Gristmill is in Greene, Texas.
Okay.
Bushmill, where we met that first time.
Buzzmill.
Oh.
See, man.
I've only been there that one time. Come on.
Be alone.
So when we were meeting there, and you're saying like, and I remember you saying that there, you were like, I have no idea. Like I was like, I don't know if I'll be good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like
it's so different,
and we didn't either. But like quite honestly, it was us talking about our vocal flubs. Like you're the best speaker.
Oh yeah, I was
of
like
us.
Mogan's easily the best, like easily, bar none. I was the way she can weave a story, her voice. Oh, and you have
the
a great
first time
voice.
she talked about Zelda, I was like,
wow,
well damn, we're we're outclassed here.
I like Halo because there's aliens. Next.
And it's got guns that go
I like it when Chief shoots things.
I like Chief.
So, I mean, yes, I think our own distinct personalities and backgrounds, and it's great that because you're more of an Xbox, I'm more PlayStation.
Right, that was always
like
a big
we always
thing
like
that we
feed
thought
off that, and
that
that's
hasn't
some
really
good.
changed much in the
No,
past year.
You
absolutely
have
not.
a PlayStation
I
now,
have
but
a
you're still a
PlayStation.
much more of a
you're still
Nintendo
Nintendo.
fan.
And I always will be.
Yeah,
Thank you, Nintendo
Loyal
Switch.
that's right. Coming up in the ranks. So, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great, I will say, like I really do. Like I know I tweeted about it like a few months ago, and I was like, "This is great to get to do it with you both." But it really is.
I didn't see that tweet.
I did.
Because I don't check.
I tagged you.
I don't
in it.
check my twatter. Yeah, I'm the worst tweeter.
You probably can't
I
because
hope
your
no one
iPhone
follows
won't
me.
function.
Yeah, fucking iOS 10.
It's that technology, man. It like gets you every time.
Swipe. I can't get rid of shit.
But like ever since that, yeah, it was like I had no idea how it was going to go, and it's really transformed into something that I really, really enjoy.
I think it's gotten to a pretty good place.
I think
I really do. I mean, the structure took a while to get there. I mean, the top 3 list was always something that I was big about. I was like, we should, because I listened to another podcast, Film Spotting, and they do a review and then they do a top 5 list. And I was just the structure there. I was like, I think we can emulate something off that. So if we, and you know what was interesting too? It's like, okay, let's do a top 3 list. That'll go by quickly. Top 3 lists actually take a long time.
Those are our longest
And
episodes.
it's part of me, even still to this day, it's like, man, should we just do top 2s?
Yeah,
Or just
maybe.
Even when we did one yesterday, I did Resident Evil, you did a horror game, you did a horror game. I was like, man, one's not bad either.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be too
still
thin.
got
I mean, we
much
still went long because then in that one, the moment with
Because
Mogan
then
was
it
like
goes into this other
20
territory.
minutes because we were talking about Nintendo news,
Yeah. True.
and stuff like that. Which that was another thing we added in later.
I could have done that for a whole hour.
For me, like we got into it, and as we got it more, I was like, man, Mogan is really good at it, like at talking all that stuff. So I was like, this would be awesome. And then
the moment it just
moment
rolls
with
off the
Mogan
tongue.
just like came out with like I was like,
think you were the first one who
I
said it
think
that
so,
way.
too.
you did, you
I
called
think
it that,
yeah,
but I was
think
like,
so.
what if we did like you did some news segment?
And
or
I think the
something.
first time you said those words at me, internally I was
life
like,
changed.
that's a big no.
that's a boo.
No from me. And then I was like, maybe I should just suck it up and do it. So like the first moment with Mogan, when was it?
I don't even remember the first episode.
What episode was that?
I would love to go back and listen to and we're going to try a new
I feel like it may
here.
have been 15, maybe 16.
Yeah.
Because it was later, but not that much later.
Yeah,
like
that
it was
sounds about
definitely
right.
before 25.
It was, I believe.
So I'd like to go back and listen to the first one and see if it sucked.
Yeah, I would like to listen to that too. Now I'm going to go back and listen to some episodes.
I remember I was
Maybe
like really
it's tickling
nervous.
me.
Like I had my notes and I was like, oh God, I'm going to really fuck it up.
Yeah.
And now that's grown into a great part. Now has a Dylan made you the
Yeah,
great
now I have a
the great theme song,
song.
which we need to re-record to get rid of my terrible beatboxing. and
That's
actually
probably
have,
one
like,
of my favorite moments from us
That
recording. Period was
was a
when he
great
came
moment.
on and just belted it right
And he's
out.
like, I have a surprise.
I thought my brains were gonna explode.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
He killed it. I mean,
This
it
is
was
what true
fantastic.
talent is like.
true talent.
the masters in our midst.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was when we had Dylan on, Dylan Biles as our first. Who was our first guest?
Yes.
We've
And that
only
was-
had
that
two.
our-
We've only had two.
We've
guests.
only had two guests.
We need to get better about that.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
wish we had more.
We've
guests.
got some guests in the works right now.
That was a great. Both those guest episodes were fantastic.
Yeah.
I really
The
like having them.
RPGs with Dylan and
And then art direction with Spencer. That was a great.
really
Those were
Ooh,
both
I liked
great
that
episodes.
one a lot too.
Adding another person actually completely overhauls the whole
It
feeling of the
does.
episode. Having that fourth voice is a lot of fun.
It
Oh, yeah.
is. It's just like a different type of energy.
It is,
And then we get to
totally
interact
different.
with someone new and be like, who's this strange
Right, we can
person?
ask them
You
questions.
guys always know them. I
yeah.
never know who these strangers
I
are.
knew Dylan. I knew Spencer.
Yeah, you knew
Right.
Spencer and stuff like that. And so, like, the goal is eventually too to be able to get like industry people on. Like we've always
Marty
talked
O'Donnell?
about had Martin
my
O'Donnell,
dream.
like
Martin
Jeremy Soule, like
Kiss his
most of
hand.
them,
He's like, all right, I'm leaving. Like shit.
which I think is really funny. Most of the people that were like, I want to have this person on, they're all composers.
They are.
okay,
But we love video game music.
I was going to talk about that at some point. It took us 25 episodes to do really what we wanted to do. Yeah. We said
To
what we
finally
needed to
get
say
to the
in
music
episode
zone.
25. That was really something that was a huge connecting force. And we've mentioned this before, but video game music, we're like, that is just an unbelievable medium right now. And
Oh.
we need to, we could almost, I think someone could do a whole podcast on video game music.
Oh, definitely.
That
Oh,
could
I'm
be
sure
just
if
a
there already
podcast.
isn't one, that would
There
be
probably is.
astonishing.
we should start like a side one.
Yeah, the
Team
side
chat,
cast.
Team chat tunes.
Team chat tunes.
Team chat tunes. Yeah, that's great, actually. We joked in the last music episode that everyone's, this is the only one people actually care about. Like, finally, we're doing another music episode.
Yeah.
And we can finally skip ahead to the music episode.
That's the one that I definitely feel like. I mean,
get to listen to
I've
music.
loved like all the games that we've talked about. That's what we were trying to figure out, and that we should have actually gotten a number. Is how many games we've talked about.
Oh,
I tried
yeah.
to do the math. So
Yeah,
if
we
could
tried to
talk-
do the math, 'cause-
I'm trying to think. You should open SoundCloud just real quick. I mean, you're gonna have to kind of peruse through how many top 3 list episodes have we done? Because sometimes
You guys
we do,
keep talking, and I'll look
Okay.
this up.
Sometimes we do open discussions. Sometimes we have guests, and then most of the time, I think the majority of the time, it's been top 3 lists, right?
The majority of the time that it's a top 3, we almost are always listing new games, but frequently, I know for sure, we've found a way to incorporate past games as well. So, for example, I've definitely talked about Splatoon in a top 3
Yeah,
episode.
definitely.
And then I know again at least once for multiplayer maps.
You talked about Splatoon.
Yeah, I talked about
we've
Splatoon
definitely had
again.
some overlap. This is going to
Yeah.
be totally a rough estimate.
I mean, doesn't Halo make it onto every list?
Halo.
So
gets-
strike Zach's
I'm
down by
actually
about
surprised
one.
About how little I've talked about Halo. Yeah, gonna reverse that on you. I know we talked about this briefly. Like, if we did episodes where just one of us talked, remember that?
Oh,
Mine would
yeah.
have to be about Halo. and the
Maybe we should
franchise.
actually. So I
Mulligan
will
Sode.
play Halo,
Zach Sode.
and then we can have a Halo sode.
a Halo sode. Oh,
Oh,
my god!
where all the Chief-a-sode.
Wow.
Where
Started
all we
with some
do is
music, yeah. But I am happy, like, going back to top 3, Moment with Mogan, now the song contest, which
Yeah,
is a
I
fairly
like the
new
contest a
addition.
lot.
I love, to me, this is the structure's there. We could certainly maybe add some other things or do, I'm just thinking about other podcasts I listen to, and they do Film Spotting, for example, did this really great bracket where they took all the major filmmakers of the modern times and did like an NCAA bracket where they versed each other, and they had to whittle it down to if there was only one filmmaker left, who would it be? And the decisions they had to make. So we could do that with maybe the developers
Oh
or
gosh!
franchises.
Ooh, that is a fun
Yeah,
idea.
and the whole community was
Nintendo
voting.
number 1.
Yeah, so we'd have to see through votes. But I am happy that we've stuck to a structure, because that, for me, when I listen to a podcast, that's what I think I prefer that over ramblings.
Yeah,
Even though we do ramble
yeah.
and we do have open discussions, but at least they're surrounded by something.
And too much randomness, like if you never really know quite what to expect, like if you don't even have an idea, that's kind of something I don't look for when I'm viewing or listening to something. I like to have a structure.
Yeah.
So like some of the podcasts that I listen to, I like to know what's happening.
Yes.
And it makes me very happy when like the intro is the same, and then there's the break in the middle, and then the end of the same. And I'm like, good, now I know that we're at the halfway point. There's 20 more minutes to go.
Exactly where we are. What did you get a number?
So, I mean, this is rough, but of ones that it seems that we've done about 20 that are straight list episodes.
Okay. So we've only done 20. Okay.
But in each of those, we would have talked about 9 games.
That's true.
That's too many
because
games.
we each did 3.
That's true.
So 20 times 9 is 180.
And if you factor in potential repeats, that's probably still at least
But then that's
one.
not talking about like the one like discussion based episodes. So we've probably talked over 200 games.
Oh yeah,
that's probably true. I actually have gotten to a point where I feel like I'm running out of games.
You got to play more.
That's not true. There's actually a game that I really wanted to talk about, Time Crisis. There's a game I used to play called Time Crisis.
I've heard of that one.
It's in arcades everywhere, but I think I remember playing it for my Dreamcast. Dreamcast is still a system that I've only touched on. There was actually a big sort of player in my childhood life.
The only time I ever physically interacted with a Dreamcast at all was at my aunt's house. And she is such a big gamer as well. Actually, her and my mom, I have very vivid memories of my Aunt Julie would call the house. This was back when phones had cords. My Aunt Julie would call the house, my mom would pick up, and all I would hear from my mom would be, Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider. And like I would know that Aunt Julie was on the other end going, Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider. And so like they would play Tomb Raider together like from long distances because they all live out of state. And like my mom would go up and get on the computer and then she'd be playing Tomb Raider and then they'd call each other to talk about hints and where they were at. And I was like, so gaming is family, yes? That's what I'm absorbing from this interaction. And so when we would go to Aunt Julie's house, it was always like, oh, what does she have? What games does she have? She was the first person I vividly remember that ever mentioned Xbox because she was aware that Xbox was like coming out when it was still in the rumor stage. And she was like, there's all these rumors that Microsoft is going to make a console. They think it's going to be called the Xbox. And I was like, well, that sounds like horse apples.
Yeah.
You're crazy, Aunt Julie. Because at her house, they actually had a Dreamcast. And I was like, that's probably not going to happen. And that was the first time I ever played Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur. And eventually Soul Calibur and Soul Edge melded into one game, Soul Calibur. But back then they were 2 separate games. And I was like, this system is weird.
It is a bizarre
system. It's a bizarre system.
All the systems I've had, it's got to be the most unique.
It did have some great games, though.
It did. I mean, I've talked about it a little bit, but they had Sonic Adventure, which was a huge game for me. I love that game. I think I tried to do Did I try to pick music? I almost picked music from that for the last Music Sode, actually. That was very close to doing a Sonic Adventure song. Virtua Tennis was big. There's some hoverboard game I played in Crazy Taxi. That was
Crazy Taxi.
Crazy Taxi. That's also got a really good soundtrack. I don't know if I mentioned the soundtrack before. I feel like I might have.
You told us it has. I don't think you've ever brought it like on an
Crazy
episode
Taxi,
or whatever.
Soundtrack. Yeah. What's y'all's favorite episode?
Oh man,
favorite episode. Let me pull up the list.
It's really recent, but I feel like we killed the second Music Sode.
That was
the second Music Sode was
good.
Really good.
It was great.
We didn't try to do as much.
Yeah.
We had like really good samples, and like each song, we only had one song instead of like 2 or 3 for each game that we talked about.
And we had the format down at that point because the first one we weren't really quite sure how it was going to work. So knowing how we were going to do it and knowing that we had so many great games to choose from for their soundtracks.
I know when we do a Music Sode, it's so.
It's like a special event. It really is. It's like, it's a Music Sode.
Really
That's those are really probably the ones where I have done the most prep.
Yeah.
I think I probably did a ton of prep for the original episode 1 because I was probably really nervous. And then I know I did a crap ton of prep for both Music Sodes.
Yeah.
Those are the ones where I take pages of notes just so that I know what I'm going to talk about.
Sure.
Because otherwise I get all scatterbrained.
Oh, you know what? I just saw you pass favorite weapons. Volume 2 for favorite weapons.
Have we not done one yet?
We haven't done a second one yet. We haven't done a second.
Because Splatoon has added so many weapons since then.
What is that? No Man's
There's so
was
many.
that 2015?
The anticipated games of 2016.
Oh,
No Man's Sky is on our
No
was
Man's
on our list.
Oh, cover that up.
And then that comes full circle in the hype episode.
The hype episode I thought was really good.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was my favorite, but that one was really good
liked
too.
when
That was a
we
more recent one.
to go into more video game theories or video game like the Hollywoodification of video games.
I was going to say that one's probably one of my.
I was about
That
to
one
say,
is
I'm
in my
still
top 3 for sure.
bristling about Hollywoodification.
The Hollywood episode, video games and Hollywood episode, I think is still one of my favorites. Is in my top 3.
Yeah.
I also really liked our role models one.
Yeah, again, we're coming back to sort of the idea surrounding video games rather than
Yeah.
the games themselves, which I still do enjoy.
Most of
getting
our
right.
favorites really are about the things that kind of encircle games, not
Exactly.
necessarily games themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know we joke about this, but episode 2 when we talk about
The Lost episode 2.
Video game addiction.
Oh,
So
that's
that's another funny story.
rabbit hole of
Yeah.
stuff we probably have.
You know, that should be
research on.
that should be the perk of hidden Patreon tier 3. If you become a tier 3 sponsor, we will
never
just
listen.
give you the Lost
Which
episode
is so
2.
secret we don't even have
It's
a
so
third tier. of
secret.
Patreon.
We don't even have
That's how
a third
secret
tier.
it is.
Just guess how much money you have to give us, and we'll work from there.
I would love to listen to episode 2.
Yeah.
Or is it just will I cringe the whole way through it?
It might be pretty cringy. I don't
Ooh.
know. So
Ooh.
the story about that one is so we did episode 1, and we recorded episode 1, and that was like, and then I don't know why we picked that as being
I don't
episode
know
2.
why we did
And we were
either.
like,
Really
let's talk
too
about
heavy.
like people getting addicted to games, or just video game addiction or something like that. We're like, yeah,
That's important.
And so we do it, and I don't even think like that's what we meant it to be. Like I think it was
No.
more of like what makes a game addicting, or like certain
Exactly.
games addicting.
That's what we
But
wanted
then-
it to
That's
be.
what we wanted it to
But
be.
boy, did it
And then
spiral out of control.
It straight up spiraled. Like we were looking at video game addiction hotlines at one point. This one I
We're talking
remember.
about like death rates and people that like die playing games.
Yeah,
with
and
you.
we're just like, that's
"Whoa."
crazy. And then we sat there,
crazy, man.
we recorded this episode, and then and
I
this is
remember-
going to be episode 2.
I'll never forget. You stood up and you like looked at us, right? And you were like walking to the computer. Didn't
Yeah,
you, like, we were
I
like-
stood
we
up.
were all
like,
like that wasn't.
went to
good.
walk to the computer, and I was like,
That felt
I
wrong.
don't know how I feel about that.
And we're like, yeah, that didn't feel good.
Put that one into the vault of no return.
We actually, and that is the only time we've ever like re-recorded an episode. Those 2 episodes,
Those
the
two-
first and
for
second
the
episodes, are the
first
only times
we
we've
had to re-record.
re-recorded an episode.
Which I'm glad we did. I don't feel bad about it.
No, I don't either.
What is episode 2 now?
Episode 2 then became games we love but also hate.
Which is
Oh,
an interesting
yeah.
episode too. You
Yeah.
think we would have done favorite this,
Yeah.
favorite that?
Well, we'd already talked about. I think that's what we then decided on because the first episode had our games of all time. But like,
Yeah.
what are some that we like, but we also are like,
yeah, and I'm
don't
seeing,
know how much I like
I
this.
see Mario Kart and Gears of War and what is that on the left there?
That is Twilight Princess,
is that
right?
No.
Oh,
no,
that's
we
Phantom Hourglass.
Phantom Hourglass.
Phantom
Sorry,
Hourglass.
What the hell?
I don't know Zelda as well. I don't know them as well. We know this. Yeah, just like and those were games that like we really like it, but like one thing, but like Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart, but I hate
You just
Mario Kart
talked
because
about
I
it.
lose all the time.
Oh
Favorite vehicles.
yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
You know, something like that. Like I love it, but I hate it because I
Yeah.
lose. We talked about Destiny in that one a lot, which
Destiny.
we've
Oh.
circled back around
We've
to a
talked
lot.
about Destiny before too. Yeah.
So you know,
We've been talking about Destiny for 1,000 years.
We have. It's
yeah, I think
exactly
we've about reached the end of all we can say about that.
most addicting games.
most addicting
you know,
games is
What's
a
weird
really
is how
fun
many
one.
plays that one. There's so many people seem to come back to that one and listen to most.
Well, they're
Addicting
addicted to it. Duh.
Because it's
Oh,
addicting games.
oh.
And then when like got back,
Oh, you know what's a great episode? The PS4 versus Xbox
Oh,
One
that
debate.
one was a great
because
one.
it was so silly.
It was.
just like, what the fuck? Like they're both good.
yeah,
Because I was like, my decision-making process is not super technical. I want to
No.
know all the ridiculous
We're
reasons.
going off like emotion here.
well, and that was fun too because we did where you and I, Zach, you and I debated about like you debated for pros for Xbox,
Yes.
I debated pros for
And
PS4,
Mogan
but then we had
moderated.
done like the Twitter and Facebook poll.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Because like
That's
we were
right.
like Mogan's gonna get one, you guys choose which one she gets, and like that was pretty
sure
fun.
enough, that was
Yeah.
fun. That was. And
And then we
there's a
didn't
fair amount of
reveal
votes.
until the end of the episode which one
Yes.
was picked.
And just to verify, it was a fair fight.
It was
There
pretty close.
There was no fudging of the numbers. PS4 is clearly the victor.
Whoa! I don't think that's the thing. We never came to a clear decision at the end.
Yeah, well,
we need the whiteboards. We had talked
Yeah,
about having
we
this,
need
like,
the
But it was kind
whiteboard.
of like arrows and like scratches out. You know, just you couldn't tell really what the winner was.
what it was measuring, but it's like point for Xbox,
Point for Xbox.
PS4.
Yeah, just
I had
randomness.
tally marks on my list, and I was like, "Oh, point for PS4."
All right.
Which is then because there was a definite point where you're kind of like, I don't know on Xbox.
You,
And then it was like,
Zach, you made a great argument for Xbox. I will
did.
say that.
and then I was
I
like,
did.
no, you can't because you said you would let the audience decide, and then you decided.
Either way, it was futile.
But you did a good effort. Good try.
Thank you.
But then
Mobile games.
episode 21 though was probably the most. I wouldn't say most fun episode. It was the
It was
it
definitely
holds
the
a special
most
place
different.
because it was crazy.
It was the most different by a lot.
We're getting drunk. We got to
yeah.
stop this.
That was a.
I remember
fun
coming
ride.
back for 22 being like, I'm so glad we're not drinking. This feels so much better.
Yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, so here we are at the end of year 1 of Team Chat Podcast.
Yeah, it's exactly a year pretty much.
Pretty much, and that's a crazy thing. Like honestly, I didn't know if it was going to be a thing that was going to like we would do 5. I remember we celebrated when we got to 10 episodes. We were like, we got
we
to
were like
10.
Yeah, we got like 2.
And now here we are almost at 50, which it'll be even a bigger thing when we get to 100.
And you know what's weird is, and I know this is like a reflection of life itself, but it goes faster as you get older.
It
You
really
know?
does.
1 to
It's-
10 took forever.
Yes.
Obviously, we were doing it bi-weekly, but still, it just felt
It took
like,
a long time.
Man, we got to 10, like this is, whoa. And now we got to 50 like that. It just happened.
Yeah, and then we look back and we're like, oh,
we're not.
that episode was last week, and
Right.
it was like, oh no, that was like 20 episodes ago.
And it's like,
Yeah.
oh God.
Which then you think that was 20 weeks ago. What the
Fuck. Yeah, it's just growing up.
It's like
you
it
know?
just goes so fast. Team Chat's growing in front of us, and I can't take it.
I
I
know.
haven't taken enough pictures and made a memory book, and I don't know what to do.
It's getting out of our hands.
But no, so this is a good time to go ahead and let everyone know of a little bit of a plan for the future, as it were. So I'm about to go to Europe
Self-destruction activated.
at the end of November. Like I'm going to Europe for like 2 weeks, and as a finally like getting over there, seeing the sights and sounds, it's going to be wonderful and fantastic. But I'm
It's a
going to be gone
great
for like
time since the pound has sunk so low.
know.
You
Yep.
did good,
It's gonna
man.
be cheap.
Post Brexit.
And then obviously like holidays and stuff like that are coming up as well. So we are going to be taking a winter break, but never fear, that doesn't mean you won't hear from us in that time. We're working out how to like release some things. We release some things out and get that out so that it's not like we just go radio silent. And then we'll come back from after that and we'll pick back up. There are still going to be new episodes up until then. Like that's kind of another reason why we're pre-recording now, trying to get ahead and get
Much
get
like
ahead of
the
loop.
noble squirrel, we are gathering our nuts for the winter.
All hail the squirrel.
Oh, hail the squirrel.
gotta get our nut.
I think, I think we can, every week something will come out.
Yeah. Well, you will still hear from us. We're not going away.
No, we'll still.
And then we're gonna come back and then hit the new episodes. And, like really, I think that's a big thing for us. Like I don't know how much necessarily the like we were talking about before we recorded, like the tone and stuff of the show isn't going to be much different. What it is going to be more for us is figuring out like how do we get to the next step as far as
Right, we're
like
trying to build this
audience
thing.
reach and
Yeah.
like how do we build it. And this felt like at a good place. Like we've hit our year. Like next week's episode is still going to be new, and a couple episodes after that will probably still be new as well. And then we'll like release some bonus things or whatever. We haven't totally nailed it down yet, but we'll still be giving you stuff on Tuesday, so you still have your weekly hit of Team Chat. Take that little bump.
Why didn't we do top 3 team chat episodes? That's what the episode should have
We
been.
kinda did,
We kind of
like,
did.
briefly.
Top 3, let's
Yeah.
say that we go through a roundabout. Like, what's number 2, Mogan? That's hilarious, actually. We talk about the team chat.
That would be
episodes.
really
That'd
funny.
be well, whatever.
And so we'll be working on that kind of stuff, and then we'll come back after our winter break. And
Revitalized.
refreshed
for the new year.
and ready for year 2 of Team Chat. So also because of that, and we are pre-recording this one, we don't obviously have a moment with Mogan because we don't know what news. We talked last night for 30
It's
minutes
a
on
mystery
the internet
to me.
on the
Week-old
Nintendo
news.
Switch. So we can't talk too much about that anymore.
Future Mogan
but,
is no help at all.
Maybe future Mogan will pay a visit with an updated
Oh,
with Mogan in the
maybe.
future.
audio.
That's
just
something
audio.
I should have thought of sooner. Huh.
Yeah.
Future Mogan.
Future Mogan might make an appearance. And then, but yeah, so, so as we close this one out, and future Jarrett will pay you a visit again to share you the new
He's coming back,
song
don't
the new
worry.
song clip and everything for
You
this
gotta
week's
thank Past
contest.
Jared. Thank you, Past
Thank
Jared.
you, Past Jarrett.
And now to you, Future Jared.
All right, hey,
And
podcast on your own.
but no. So as we hit,
Past
we've
Jared
hit
versus
the
future Jared.
angel and devil on my shoulders.
yeah.
But no, as we have hit the first year of Team Chat, it's still just crazy that we made it a whole year.
Yeah, seriously.
It's been a ton of fun.
It has.
Getting to know you guys more and to do this show with you on a weekly basis. I would say it's safe to say we are all friends now.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
And the show has really gotten me to play more games to expand my own wheelhouse. So
yeah, I definitely probably it's taught me more about how to look at them more than just, again, like it's gotten me more into it to see it and to talk about, oh, can you hit that? We're getting all the emotional sappy stuff. The camera cuts out on us.
Well, it's so that they can't see us cry.
I know. Tears. We come back and we just have like
my mascara.
But no, it's really shown me like how to talk about games at a much more to really analyze them more. And
just in a more
so I feel like
thorough
I'm getting more out of my gaming too because of this. And then but then most of all, and and probably the top thank you and all that again is to everyone who listens and everyone who does support us and all that. It's because it means a lot that you guys all are out there, guys and gals are out there listening to us.
Yeah.
So, like I say in my Patreon spiel, we will keep doing this week after week because we do love it and we love making a great show for you all, and we hope to continue that for. Hopefully at least one more year for you too, and
another month or so.
and many more years to come.
Many more years.
I can't wait to do the last episode, and you're gonna be like, and to my right,
and to
my right.
Right, it's like bombs are going off outside. Good night and good luck.
The apocalypse has happened.
To my left, it's been like I'm playing the violin. It's been an honor.
It's been an honor, sir.
It's been a real honor.
Tip of the hat,
Tip of the hat to you, sir. Good night. Can we go silent? It's done.
But that brings this episode. No, that's fine. It was good.
It's gonna happen one day. We're all gonna die.
But this brings this episode of Team Chat Podcast to a close. Until next time, I'm one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Tip of the hat, sir.
And to my left, Zachary Parks.
Tip of the hat to you too.
Tip of the hat to both of you. Stick around for future Jarrett to give you the song hint.
Yeah.
And the segment.
Maybe.
But
we don't know what it is.
That's all, folks. We'll see you all next time. Hey, everybody, I'm back to give you the hint provided to you by Andrew Mogan for this week's song contest. And it is, Tim is off on a search to rescue the princess. One more time. Tim is off on a search to rescue the princess. And now, here's the song.